What makes someone believe they can bend the world to their will, no matter the cost to others? In the quiet suburb of Willow Creek, where maple trees lined the streets and neighbors waved from porches, one woman's obsession with control spiraled into a spectacle that would leave a community fractured and a bitter lesson learned. This is the story of Karen Whitaker, a woman whose defiance painted a parking lot red literally and ended in a reckoning that no one saw coming. Karen Whitaker was a fixture in Willow Creek, known for her immaculate lawn and her sharp tongue at HOA meetings. At 45, she carried herself with the authority of someone who believed rules were for others. Her latest fixation was the public parking lot near the community center, a shared space where families parked for soccer games, book clubs, and summer fairs. Karen, however, saw it as her personal domain. She lived across the street, and the sight of outsiders parking there, especially during her meticulously planned garden parties, grated on her nerves. "This is our neighborhood," she'd mutter, glaring at minivans and pickup trucks. She decided to take matters into her own hands. It started subtly. Karen placed orange traffic cones along the lot's edge, reserving the closest spots for herself and her guests. When that didn't deter people, she escalated. One night, under the cover of darkness, she hauled cans of red paint from her garage and marked 10 parking spaces with bold, uneven letters, "Reserved for Whitaker." The community woke to a garish display of entitlement, the lot now a patchwork of her claim. Neighbors whispered, some amused, others outraged. The town council issued a warning, but Karen shrugged it off. "I'm protecting my property value," she declared, as if the public lot were her backyard. Enter Javier Morales, a single father and part-time landscaper who relied on the lot to park his work truck. Javier was soft-spoken, with a warm smile that hid the exhaustion of juggling 2 jobs and raising his daughter, Sophia. He'd moved to Willow Creek for its promise of community, but Karen's cones and paint made his life harder. His truck, too wide for the narrowed spaces, often ended up blocks away, costing him time and patience. One evening, after a long day, he confronted Karen as she repositioned her cones. "This lot's for everyone," he said, voice steady but firm. Karen's eyes narrowed. "Mind your own business, or you'll regret it," she snapped, storming off. The tension simmered for weeks. Karen's cones multiplied, and her painted lines grew bolder, now adorned with threats, "Tow Zone," and "Private." The community center's events suffered. Fewer families showed up, wary of the hassle. Complaints piled up at town hall, but Karen doubled down, claiming she was beautifying the lot. Then came the twist no one expected. A quiet newcomer named Elise, a retired lawyer who'd moved to Willow Creek for peace, decided to act. Elise had watched Karen's antics with growing dismay, her legal mind ticking. She wasn't loud or confrontational like Karen. She was methodical. Behind the scenes, Elise rallied neighbors, documented Karen's actions, and filed a formal complaint with the county, citing vandalism and misuse of public property. Karen, oblivious, pushed further. She hired a contractor to install metal bollards around her spaces, costing her thousands but cementing her claim. The night the bollards went up, a crowd gathered, including Javier, who clutched Sophia's hand. "Why is she so mean, Papa?" Sophia asked, her voice small. Javier didn't answer. He was staring at Elise, who stood calmly taking photos. "This ends soon," Elise whispered to him, her eyes sharp with purpose. The county's response was swift and brutal. Karen's bollards, paint, and cones were deemed illegal. A court order fined her $100,000 for damages and ordered her to restore the lot at her expense. The news hit Willow Creek like a thunderclap. Karen, defiant to the end, screamed at the town meeting, "You're all jealous of me." But the judge was unmoved. Her savings drained, Karen hired a crew to scrub the paint and remove the bollards under the watchful eyes of neighbors. Javier helped, not out of kindness but to ensure the lot was usable again. Sophia, watching him, said, "You're stronger than her, Papa." He smiled, but his heart was heavy. Here's where the story turns darker, revealing a truth no one anticipated. Elise, the unassuming lawyer, wasn't just a concerned citizen. She'd moved to Willow Creek to escape her own pasta high-profile case, where she defended a corporation that displaced families for profit. Guilt had driven her to solitude, and Karen's selfishness struck a nerve, reminding her of the greed she'd once enabled. Elisa's crusade against Karen wasn't just about parking. It was redemption. She never told anyone, but late at night, she'd sit in her small apartment, staring at old case files, wondering if she'd ever atone. Karen's fall was public and humiliating. The lot was restored, but the community's warmth was gone. Neighbors avoided her, and her garden parties became lonely affairs. Javier, meanwhile, parked his truck freely, but he felt no victory. Sophia's question, "Why is she so mean?" echoed in his mind. He saw Karen, now a shadow of her former self, watering her lawn alone, and wondered what broke her to make her so cruel. Elise, too, found no peace. Her victory over Karen felt hollow, a reminder of battles she'd lost within herself. The final blow came quietly. One morning, Karen's house went up for sale. She couldn't afford the fine and the restoration costs, and her pride wouldn't let her stay. As she packed, she found an old photo of herself, younger, smiling at a community picnic in that same parking lot. She'd been different then, before resentment twisted her. She left Willow Creek without a word, her car vanishing down the maple-lined street. The lot stands clear now, a silent testament to a battle no one truly won. Javier still parks there, teaching Sophia to ride her bike in the open spaces. Elise watches from her window, her legal files packed away but never forgotten. The community moves on, but the scars remain a reminder that entitlement can paint a town red, but it's the human cost that lingers. ND